Okay, what is the time? It's about 4:45. Lesson's not scheduled to start until 6:30, so I've got time to do this little video. Alright, first up, the two Jiukumite waza that we worked on last Saturday, and this is for mainly Rafael. Now, the technique was from Kamae here. We initially thrust out with Junzuki and then go for Oizuki here. So this one is just a feint or dummy technique, and it also triggers the actual movement forward. So from here it's 1, 2, okay? So it's scored. Now what we don't want is scored, where you're skipping and overrunning. What you've got to do is keep your stance here. Now, if on the chance that he does, as you move in, fire Gyakuzuki at you, sometimes this one can act as a deflection. Now like a Zuki-uke. So you start to move, he does Gyakuzuki, that pins it back. If you can imagine the stone to come out, and that sort of intercepts it. So from here, Junzuki, Oizuki. You could go Jodan, doesn't really matter, but really I go straight at him here, and Chuda. Okay, straight in. Okay, now the second one was from here, 1 Gyakuzuki. So the feint is up, Chudan. You could go Chudan, but I think the Jodan version attracts his attention more. Straight in. Sit in your stance. Alright, now exactly the same two waza on the Makiwara. Now what I do is go to Kamae pair, throw Chudan out here, and then Oizuki in. Dummy, strike. Try not to overrun. So from here, Kamae pair, the dummy move, point. The second one is, the trigger one is Jodan here, just to attract his attention, and then race in for the Chudan Gyakuzuki. So from here my movement starts, scores. Now, I can start moving, I'm about halfway, or from here. But once I get this going, I like to be moving. So I'm about a third of the way, and then I strike. Second version, strike. So one is Oizuki here, and the other one is Gyakuzuki here. And it can be Chudan or Jodan. Okay, hope that helps. Now, during 2020, we created a few basics, and the idea of these basics was not so much to add to our curriculum, but to refine what we were doing. And let me give an example of that. I think one of the first ones was the Hizoko Uke Waza. I think that's what we called it, not that it matters. But what we did, we came to Hizoko Kamae here. And from here we just executed Garamurai both sides, Aduke both sides, so that Uchi, Shuto, down. And the idea was that we had the knees deeply bent so that we got the compression from the floor coming up through the feet, through the thighs, into the hips, and out through the arms. So an excellent basic, Hizoko Kamae here. Making sure that the cover for every block, aguke, soruke, uchuke, shito, uke. Now we did experience a period of time where we weren't happy with the shitoke. And I think that was because a lot of people were practicing it as just a movement here, more of a cross and down. But what we wanted it to become is something more from here. So we suggested that the shitoke would come up from the cover here, up here, and then forward into the block. So, here. So you can time it almost flick back on cover and then forward for the delivery of the shitoke. So I think that worked. We found people were doing shitoke much more realistically. All right, now let's see. The next one was Kihon Yon Dosa. Now, as you know, the normal Kihon Yon Dosa has the 4 steps here, Hai! And the Gyakusuki. 4 steps, 5 blocks. Well, we wanted to make that basic a little bit more dynamic, so we shortened it down and tried to pull out the key points. That was the transition of power from the floor, the compression. So we did that from Hezoku Arch, and we did the blocks in the sequence: Garamurai, Aguke, Soruke, Uchuke, Shitoke. So this exercise started in Hezoku Kamae, here. Garamurai was the first block. Hai! Second going forward, Aguke. Third going back, Soruke. Fourth going back, Uchuke. And finally, Shitoke. And of course, now you can do it on the opposite side if you like. But it's mainly going from here, making sure the cover and making sure we pressed forward by using compression from the floor and driving in. And we found from here it was much more successful when we went back as opposed to when we went forward. I suppose that's natural enough, but we tried to equal it out the best we could. Okay, now we continued with Kion Yon Dosa from Kion Eagle. Now what I mean by that, and I'm sure you're aware, we went to Kamae here, then the first block Garamurai, Hai! Aguke, Hai! Sote, Hai! Uchi, Hai! Shito, yeah! And then back. Yeah! So we could do Kion Yon Dosa regular. We could do it from Hezoku Kamae, or we could do it from Kion Eagle. And what the result was, we become much more strong the way we approach the basic Kion Yon Dosa. So it certainly was a valuable couple of variations. Now, one of the other basics that we sort of created during the lockdown actually was Kihon Rokudosa. You'll probably remember it. Now that's half of it. What we did, and I didn't demonstrate that, was, let's look at it once again. Dropping the body weight, surging forward, Chudanoiski, back, turning, using the hips, the Akuzuki, back, using the arm and the stomach muscles, 180 degree turn, back. And then when we came here, yeah! And then of course we go on the opposite side here, all the way through. So that was a tidy little basic as well. Kionukeme-san, again, we wanted to shorten that basic down so that we could be a bit more dynamic with it rather than 5 blocks. You start to falter around uchuke, shidoke. So what we decided to do was do each block in order on each turn, and we called it Hoppo Nidosa. Okay. In fact, I think we step up at the finish, not back. But this is really just a recap, so I hope you're following okay. Now, apart from, well, let's look at the punches. With Karazuki, we wanted to generate a faster, harder hitting Seiken, Chokozuki, or Karasuki. So, we created a few variations. Now, the Karazuki itself, the important feature is the start, and the strong, powerful uchite, fist going out, hikite, the fist coming back to the hip. So then we said, okay, why don't we, from here, do it with a side step, or a forward step, back step. And the important thing was that the timing for the punch was as the body lifted here, or if stepping, see it drops a little bit, and as we straighten up, the punch goes in. So the timing was crucial here. We wanted the strong, as I say, uchite, fist going out, and hikite, the speed quick and nice focus. Then we had a variation where we punched 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, making sure that 2 was there and 3, not 1, sort of half-hearted, 2. That had to be 3. Then for a little while, we started going, I beg your pardon. Oh, yeah, okay. Well, we started going 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, just a little bit quicker, sooner than 1, 2, 3. Okay, now the one I was thinking about was Karazuki knee. So we started here, edge, knee, and then sun, edge, knee, sun. So that our hips went strong, strong, strong to the front. Yeah. Okay. Oh, now just lately, you might like to look at this one. A bit of fun. And that was Solobazuki, from keep it out. So what we did here was start here, and then jump. There was a 180-degree turn too, but that really plays havoc with your knees, the twisting around. But so we decided to do the side, 90-degree one in front, until it was strong, and then perhaps add the 180-degree turn a little later. Now the katas we worked on in the second half of this year were Jute, Jien, and about 3 weeks now, I suppose, Teke Sandan. We also did a little bit of Heian training where we paired them. We did Heian Shodan halfway, Heian Nidan second half. So that's Heian Nidan first half, Heian Sandan second half, and so on. And that, it was really just a brain teaser. You had to really keep your wits about you to get to the end and then go into the next kata in order. All right. So that's just a little bit of revision of what we did last year. Now the other thing was, just last Saturday, for interest's sake, we did 2 Jiu Kumite combinations, and one was from Kumite here. We throw the dummy chudan and then follow through with the chudan oiseki. So from here it's just to attract his attention. Aya! Strike. 1. So you're actually moving here. Score. Straight down the barrel of your opponent. Then secondly, here, chudan gyakuzuki. Here's the trigger, here's the point. Okay, so one was with Oizuki here, and the other one was Hyakuzuki here. And we tried to practice that, getting quicker and quicker, but not dropping any of our focus and posture stability. It's no good, for example, let's do this one here, running in and then skidding past, or here, hey, this sort of thing. We wanted to lock in front of the opponent, so we scored Ippo. Not much point in worrying about what he could do once you've succeeded in scoring, because in reality he ain't doing anything. So, that was just a courage to strike and hold, or strike and hold with a Gyakuzuki here. All right, we won't string it out, but that's just a little bit of a recap from what we did during lockdown and the second half of this year. Okay, hope you have a nice Christmas. Please keep training, keep striving. But remember, our basics are important, the same as our kata, but in the end, it's your kumite ability. That's what we do it all for, with a partner to actually engage in combat. So, you can have beautiful kata, strong kata, but if you don't put it into practical use with a partner, it's really quite pointless. So your basics are to hone out your techniques, make them quicker, make your body shifts smoother, your reading of the opponent's strategy clearer. Okay, but you mustn't forget to actually grab a partner and engage. Okay, all the best.